The midterm elections in the United States are less than 6 months away now, so as the clock ticks, both the Republicans and the Democrats are trying to push through their redrawn maps in their respective states. The latest state making the headlines is Louisiana, where state House representatives have approved congressional redistricting, a move that benefits the Republican Party. Now, the move comes a month after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a previous version of the redrawn map. Now, for Louisiana, the approval heads to the Senate in the state. In the state of Alabama, which also has a Republican administration, a federal court has struck down the redrawn congressional map for the state. The decision comes as a setback to the Red Camp after a court injunction has stopped Alabama's administration from using a new map that favors the Republicans. But Alabama's officials have asked the top court to allow it to use the map that the state had adopted back in 2023 for the upcoming midterm elections. The Supreme Court bench is expected to announce a decision on the matter next week. The stakes are also very high in South Carolina, where the Republican-led Senate is trying to redraw the congressional districts in favor of the party. But the state Senate's vote on redistricting had failed this past Tuesday, and several senators are of the opinion that it is simply too late to change the district lines. Now, congressional redistricting is a move that was first made by the Republican Party with the backing from the U.S. President Donald Trump. The Democrats were quick to follow, pushing for new redrawn maps in the blue states to tilt the congressional majority in their favor for the November midterm elections. The Trump and his Republican Party are looking to keep the control of the congressional chambers with substantial focus on the House of Representatives. Currently, the Republicans just meet the majority mark with 217 representatives of the party and one independent congressional lawmaker, helping them to reach the halfway mark. The Democrats have got about 212 seats to their name and 5 vacancies in the lower house. All right, now joining us all the way from Chicago, we've got Mr. Christopher Hale, who's a Democrat strategist. His work for Presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden in the White House and on the campaign trail. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION, Mr. Hale. Now, let me in fact start off by asking you this. The fact that the entire focus is going to be on the redistricting of these states, do you think this is actually going to play on the minds of the voters? Because clearly both the Republican Party and also the Democrats are trying to redraw the maps of their respective states to try and gain an advantage. Do you think the American people will not see through this?
You know, I think that at the end of the day, the American people care about the issues closest to their lives. I have found in my work experience that that really pocketbook issues tend to win the day. My party in 2024 famously tried to run on the January 6th insurrection, which we thought was a grave threat to democracy, thought was a profound affront to the democratic rule. But voters don't tend to be as theoretical, unfortunately. They don't care about what they might call more esoteric issues. So why this is happening, I do think that this tit-for-tat, I wish that voters would punish redistricting. I'm from Tennessee originally, and we've seen an incredible gerrymandering effort from the Republican Party. But we find, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily motivate voters as much as you'd want. I think the best chance for my party going forward into November elections is really talking about the high prices that have dominated this presidency and actually dominated Joe Biden's presidency as well.
Right.
President Trump said he would fix it on day one, and of course, we haven't gotten that.
You know, this moment, because of the Iran war, because of the inflation having gone up substantially and oil prices through the roof, some would say that Donald Trump and the Republicans are on a sticky wicket, and the Democrats should be sensing their opportunity. But by trying to do what the Republicans are doing, are you not giving the initiative back to the Republicans? Because now people will turn around and say, this is exactly what the Republicans are doing, and they're not going hammer and tongs on a strategy where the Democrats should have taken the message to the people saying that Trump came on the ticket to make America great again, but he's taking America into another, probably forever foreign war.
I think that's a very fair critique. We saw that our redistricting efforts in Virginia, and particularly, just failed miserably. We won at the ballot box, but we didn't win the courts. I do think that it makes sense for the party to fight back. You don't want to just simply lie down while the states are being redistricted left and right. But I do think, as you say rightly, that we really need to pivot and start talking about this war. What I have found remarkably about this war is this is the one issue that is really dividing President Trump's base as well. There's significant parts of the MAGA contingent who took, as you mentioned, the promise of no more foreign entanglements in the Middle East. And so I would strongly suggest, my party, I think we are doing it, pivot away from this talk about redistricting, pivot from these legal battles over single seats, and really start hammering this message home. We have opportunities too. I will say this: I think in Texas, in particular, Republicans might have overplayed their hand on redistricting, and some of those districts that were drawn to be Republican maps, I think, are in play. And so I hope that we take advantage of that.
All right, we'll have to see as to how this unfolds. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Christopher Hale, for joining us from Chicago and getting us those insights. Thank you very much.